Hello there. No audio. So I started off with no audio because Atomic Mass Games started off with no audio. That's actually not why I started off with no audio. What's going on, everybody? Star Wars Shatterpoint. Star Wars Shatterpoint. It is here. It's a new game. It's just been announced. Woo! You guys didn't hear me because I had my audio muted for a second, but I was stumbling, man. So this just got dropped. Lots of stuff, lots of stuff to talk about. We have a ton of things to talk about. We're gonna do giveaways. I've got the big giveaway going on with the lightsaber giveaway that's running through the end of the year. We have 12 Days of Life Day giveaways, and those are all open to people who are subscribers and leave comments on this or one of my videos. But also, we're gonna do some giveaways in the live stream right now. We'll do. I'll start things off. Just so you know, we'll do an X-wing giveaway. We've got a U-wing. This one is K2SO in the U-wing, double-sided. And we've got Nam Lum in the Jumpmaster on the other side. So we got a double-sided X-Wing promo. We'll give that out. Just do a hashtag X-Wing for this one if you want to win. I'll announce these a little bit later, but we have more. If we cross 100 viewers, I'll add another one. And if we cross 300 viewers, I'll add another giveaway. So make sure you're sharing this because first off, we got to let people know there's a whole new Star Wars game out. And we got to talk about it because there's a lot of hype, a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. I think there's going to be tons of unanswered questions, and there's a lot of information we don't have right now, but there's a lot we do. We're going to watch the video, so I'm so excited. I'm also a little nervous because this could mean a lot of interesting things for other Star Wars games. I don't think it's doom and gloom, and I know that some people have said things like, "Oh my goodness, this means it's the end of." First off, let's look at it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, it's miniatures. It's people on bases, dudes on a map, kind of game. And at first glance, you're thinking, "Whoa, is this Star Wars Legion all over again, or is this Marvel Crisis Protocol? Is this Star Wars Crisis Protocol?" I think that's what it certainly looks like. These bases look just like Marvel Crisis Protocol bases, so. It seems to me that this is Marvel Crisis Protocol scale. 100% looks that way to me. It's not been confirmed exactly the scale, but larger than Legion would be Marvel Crisis Protocol scale. And that definitely seems like things that they're going with. Especially, let me look at Maul there with the Mandalorians, right? We've got Ahsoka here with Anakin. And the thing is, also, if you look at Ahsoka's head tails too, like the paint on there, it almost looks like they recessed the lines in between the head tails. It just looks like that's bigger than a larger model than Legion models because they were able to get like slightly extra fine detail in there to facilitate an easier job for people to paint, her head tails. So that's kind of where I'm leaning toward. Definitely, just everything about this looks like Marvel Crisis Protocol scale, but not just that. We're gonna show you guys. I'm gonna show you guys the video. We're gonna watch it. Let's watch the intro video, and then we'll talk some more about this game, which looks really interesting. I'll make some predictions too, but I'll be honest with you. There were a lot of different thoughts went through my mind when I first saw this, and I'm going to put some of those on hold because I want to reach out to AMG. I want to see if we can get some interviews or something like that scheduled. It may be possible. It may not. I don't know if they're open to do stuff like that at this time, or if they're open to do stuff like that with this channel. But I want to try. But I'm putting a lot of my reservations on hold right now because there's just a whole lot of information we don't have, and so we can speculate. And speculation can be fun because, I'm thinking, hey, will I be able to play this with Marvel Crisis Protocol? Probably not officially, but could I maybe do that at home if they're in the same scale? Will the rule sets be similar enough that maybe I could easily homebrew like a Ahsoka versus Captain America, or Darth Maul versus Captain America might be a little cooler. I could see some things like that maybe happening, I don't know, but I wonder about these things. So that's some of the stuff that I wonder. Let's go ahead and take a look at this video. Here we go. I'm going to play it here. So it looks pretty interesting. Now, it's not coming out till next summer, so we've got time. Pre-orders are going up in January, so you can't even pre-order it just yet. Atomic Mass Games does have a page about it on their website. This will follow kind of some of the similar, familiar packaging things that we've seen, with this being a core set, and there will be individual expansions as well. The core set looks like it's going to obviously feature Ahsoka versus Maul. It's going to feature a season 7. Looks like you've got Anakin versus Asajj in there. You're going to see, some of the good Mandalorians and the bad Mandalorians. The blues versus the reds. But there was a lot more people that we've seen. We saw Dooku in there, Grievous, Obi-Wan, Luminara. They can, and in the live stream today, they teased Padme will be coming, Mace Windu will be coming. There's lots more characters that are going to be coming. So let's talk about a couple of things. First off, Legion. A lot of people are talking questions right now. Like, as soon as this came out, I saw a lot of questions about Star Wars Legion. What's going on there? By the way, we are over 100 viewers right now. Over 100 viewers. We're going to do another giveaway. We already did the X-Wing. We already have the X-Wing giveaway for hashtag X-Wing for that. Let's do an Armada giveaway. One of my favorites. A big deluxe CR90A promo. This one's I think this one's pretty old school, man. They're hard to get. We're going to give away a CR90 for Armada. If we break 300... we'll do another one. We'll do a Legion giveaway for if we break 300 viewers. Let me know. All right, so we've got a lot of questions about this, because I think a lot of people are looking at stuff like this. I'm like, well, all right, well, wait, we've got these characters in Legion already, and they're just kind of, are they doing the same thing? I think there's a whole lot of do hashtag Armada if you want the Armada promo. And if you're watching this on, this is for the live chat. So if you're watching this after the fact, if you're not watching it live, I'm not gonna, we're gonna give these away during the video. So if you're watching it after the fact, but we can also do some giveaways in Discord as well. So we'll do that. I'll put an extra K2SO up in Discord and on Patreon. So for the X-Wing promo, if you didn't win that, there'll be extra chances for that. So make sure you're in the Discord. And make sure you're, if you want extra chances to win stuff, you can also consider Patreon. Of course, you don't have to do that. There's free options as well. But if folks want to support the channel, there's even more opportunities to win all kinds of goodies and get early access. There's some battle reports out there right now, too, that are up for early access for A-Wing levels and higher. It was pretty cool. All right, but enough of that. I don't think this is like the end of Legion, right? I think a lot of folks are probably worried about that, because on the surface, this does look like, hey, AMG is developing 2 different games that both have the same characters, and they're dudes on a map, skirmish games with terrain and Star Wars, and Anakin Skywalker for Legion, Anakin Skywalker for Shatterpoint, right? And so I get that. I get that that's going to be a concern. But there's more Legion plans. There's a lot of stuff there's stuff shipping now. There's stuff still in development. We know Ewoks are coming out next year, so there's definitely Legion coming out all the way up until next year as well. And I don't. They certainly haven't said anything like, or even given any indication that these games are stopping. So Ewoks is coming out. We'll have Ewoks and then the new game. That may be the timeline. I imagine the Ewoks will probably come out before this, but I don't think this spells the end of Star Wars Legion. And if AMG at some point were to say something to indicate that, then that would be the case. These companies usually they tell you if a game is ending, and even with Armada, they didn't say it was ending. They just said we don't have anything currently else in development at this time. And then we still eventually did get Rapid Reinforcements. So even in that case, when they kind of put a game officially on hold, they took it off hold and then kept working on stuff. And then we also just got a new OP kit for Armada that's currently shipping now and stuff like that. So it doesn't necessarily mean anything to worry about with Legion, but at the same time, I won't be surprised. Legion's already started to slow down. Like when Legion first came out, there was a couple new expansions every single month, right? Obviously, that's not the case. That will be the case for this game. They have already said they're going to have new releases every month. That's the case with every new game. So before people start to get worried and be like, oh my gosh, this game is going to get all the hype. Yes, it should. It's a new game. It's been in the works for 3 years. They've actually been working on this game before the merger even happened. This is the game Steve Horvath was talking about back in January or February of 2020 at the Gamma trade show, the big interview he gave when he laid out this huge timeline for the next 3 years. Marvel Crisis Protocol had already come out. AMG was a big success with Marvel Crisis Protocol, and they immediately were working on game number 2. Steve Horvath talked about this back in 2020 and said it was still a ways out. That's how long they've been working on this game, right? So we're going to be almost 3 years in development at this point. So they've been working on this for a long time. This is probably answers some questions as to why they moved all the Star Wars games to AMG, because I'm thinking Asmodee didn't want to have competing miniatures games under different studios within the same parent company. So they said, let's move them all to AMG. They're already, this way they can use the same art assets between the same company. I can see now that some of these decisions might make sense from a certain point of view, which is interesting. But I do... Jay Dorfer says they probably slowed down development due to COVID. COVID obviously caused a lot of things to slow down. I've heard that this was probably at a point where it could have been announced like a year ago. I think they probably wanted to announce it either earlier this year or at least at the last mini extravaganza. But I feel like they probably wanted to get a couple of Legion products out first. The reason being is if they would have announced this too soon, it might have caused more fear. Like, oh my gosh, they're not doing something. They want us to know that they have Legion stuff in the pipe, that they're developing Boba Fett, and they're developing Dark Troopers, and Moff Gideon, and Ewoks, and Ahsoka, and Asajj Ventress, and all of this cool stuff. They want us to feel secure that, hey, there's a lot of Legion stuff in the pipe. And then when we see this, we're like, oh, this is something else, right? And so I think that was, again, this is speculation on my point, but I'm guessing that was part of this strategy for this, is to try to not cause panic. And so I understand that, and I recognize that. And so I'm not going to try to cause panic by saying, oh my gosh, this is the new game. This is a new game, but sell all your Legion stuff. Of course not, man. Legion's a great game. I do wonder, long term, like if we jump ahead 3 years from now, what will be getting, what will be more successful, what will have more appeal, what will be getting, continued support into the more distant future. Because I do have questions about the long-term viability of running two games that are so very similar, especially after Fantasy Flight had Rune Wars miniatures game come out, and then Legion was announced, and almost the day Legion was announced, Rune Wars got no more support. They had like one more final wave, and that was it. So I wonder if we will see AMG kind of take a different path or learn from some of the mistakes that happened with Rune Wars. Even though it's a different company, I mean, they're still under the same umbrella, and there's certain people involved that were present for both of those. So I'm curious. Now, another thing that I want to talk about with this game is that also makes it distinct from Star Wars Legion is that this game seems like it is entirely, at least from what we've seen so far, it seems like it is entirely focused in the Clone Wars. It seems like it's entirely focused in the Clone Wars. There is literally zero from the Galactic Civil War. There's no Luke Skywalker, no Stormtroopers, no Darth Vader. None of that shows up here. And granted, as the Clone Wars kind of progresses and we have shows like The Bad Batch and things like that, that are slowly kind of merging those timelines because they are, they're linear. They do kind of eventually connect to one another. Ahsoka and Rex being both in the Rebellion and in the Clone Wars, for example. Everything here is from the Clone Wars. By the way, cool. Did you notice like the clone commandos in the background? Like that's pretty cool that they got to do those, which means we could probably get those in Legion too. And so that's kind of, if you're a Legion player, let's talk about the things for Legion players to be excited about. Here's a thing that Legion players can be excited about. If there's characters you want, like I want Mace Windu in Legion. I've wanted him for a long time. They already confirmed he's coming, which means they have art assets for Mace Windu. Now, I know they already have some art assets for Mace Windu for things like Star Wars Destiny and maybe even the RPG. Maybe some of the books had that. But Mace Windu art assets. Okay, cool. That means it's that much easier for them to bring him into this game. Luminara and is that Barriss? Hey, art assets for those characters. Oh, lots more Jedi in this game. That means lots more Jedi that can more easily slide into Legion, especially if they've already got art commissioned for them. They've already got licensing approval for them. They already have kind of a design philosophy on this character. Now, obviously, characters are going to play different between one game or another. A Jedi in this game, Anakin Skywalker in this game may work differently than Anakin Skywalker in Legion, but it won't be, I'm guessing here, this is speculation, but I imagine it won't be so different that it breaks theme, right? So, it can be difficult to take a look at a game like Star Wars Legion and say, well, hey, how do we make Mace Windu feel distinct from all the other Jedi that already exist? We don't want him just to have deflect and immune to pierce and some Force upgrades and Master of the Force 1 or something like that. We don't want him just to have the just to feel like a generic Jedi. We have to have something that makes him feel like Mace Windu, on top of being a strong Jedi. And so part of that philosophy, even though the mechanics may translate differently, part of that philosophy goes into every incarnation that we see of different characters. Certain Jedi that are more about team help or protectors, or certain Jedi that are more offensive. Like Anakin Skywalker probably isn't going to have an ability that heals other people, and doesn't attack. Anakin Skywalker is probably going to be an offensive Jedi in this. Like he's an offensive Jedi in Legion. He's a good attacker, right? Yoda is in Legion, for example, is more of a support character. He can attack, but he's a little bit more support. He's more of a mentor figure. I bet you Yoda will probably show up in this game at some point, and I bet you he will have a similar design philosophy, and that he'll be some kind of support character that can fight, but can also mentor or help other characters, right? So because that groundwork and that design philosophy will go into a lot of these characters we're seeing here, some of the bricks are kind of being laid for their eventual inclusion in Legion. So it is possible, right? And so that's kind of a cool thing. I think that matters a little bit. But you can't believe they didn't just go the kill team route. Yeah, so basically the rumor is that Fantasy Flight was working on kill team for Star Wars Legion around the time of the massive layoff and then the moving over to AMG. And I wonder if that might have been a factor, and they're like, hey, look, you can't do kill team because that's going to be way too close to this other game. You've heard me talk a lot about hero battles, right? And so I'm kind of excited about this too, because you can run in Legion, you can run 800 points, and not officially, but you can homebrew and just say, hey, we're going to run 800 points of just heroes, right? It makes command card hand building a little bit more difficult, but it's really fun. It's fun to run 800 points of just heroes. I've done it on a 3x3 battle. It's great. I feel like that feeling, and if you go home today and you're going to play Legion against somebody, try running 800 points of just heroes. I have a feeling it'll feel like this game. Of course, there's no way to prove that because I don't know what this game feels like, right? I didn't play test this. I didn't, this was all news to me. So this was surprising. I'm actually surprised that it was a Star Wars game that AMG was working on. That was very interesting. Although it does kind of make sense. Do you guys want to watch the video again? Because I think we could do that. I think we should watch the video again. We're getting close. We're over 200 subscribers. If we hit 300, we'll do another giveaway. Let's watch the video again, and I'll announce the winner for the that first giveaway for the X-Wing stuff. Let's go ahead and do that. Boom. So, yes. So, another thing, after watching this video, and we're going to do this giveaway in winner, is another thing that's really interesting with this video. There's a lot of terrain. They said this is going to come with terrain, which is another thing that makes me think very, very, very much Marvel Crisis Protocol. So that's what I want to talk about. And that's what I want to talk about next, is why I think it's going to be so similar to MCP. All right, today's first winner for the X-Wing promo is going to be Keith Brown. Whoa, my goodness. Keith Brown, congratulations. You're the winner for the first giveaway. Go ahead and shoot me an email at mailcrabbok@gmail.com. I'll get your details. Make sure you include your name and what it is you won, because I get a couple of different emails. I got a lot of emails. And also, I need your shipping information so I can get that to you. Yeah, so I want to talk about why this is more like Marvel Crisis Protocol, but I also wanted to answer some questions. There's a lot of chat, so I'm going to try and get to it as I can. So I appreciate you guys all hanging out with me today. Also, let me know where you guys are watching from. Thomas says, you're a really good guy, Crabbok, and sometimes too positive. I try. It's easier to be happy. For me, it's easier to smile than to frown. And I also, well, let me finish your comment. And sometimes you're too positive. After their release recently on their errors, this just highlights the complete lack of focus on their core products. Well, we don't know that this won't have errors too. I mean, I certainly hope not, especially for a brand new product. Look, I am pretty positive. I try to be very positive. I've sometimes been a little bit negative. And the problem is, if you want to have a good relationship with people, like I've been, I have 2 points on this. For one, I'd love to be able to do interviews with AMG and things like that. And for whatever reason, I'll do 99 positive videos and then I'll have one where I'm critical. And the one that I'm critical on them gets traction and then makes me enemies within the company. So, granted, that's not what motivates me, but that's just an annoying thing. So it makes me kind of pause and think twice before I get upset about something, and I just think it through first. Right? I think it through. It doesn't mean that I won't be critical of them. And if you saw my last live stream, I was definitely critical of them. But but I try to keep my criticism more balanced now, as opposed to just letting emotion drive me, because I'm an emotional guy and I can easily let the dark side take the wheel if I want to. But my second point on that is, it's better for me to be positive. First off, I feel like it's better for my mental health to be positive. It's better to focus on the things that I love rather than worrying about the things that I fear might happen, or the things that I'm worried about. Like when Armada, for example, got its I guess it's bad news, right? The bad news day of like, hey guys, we're really not working on anything for Armada. Like that was a bad day for me, and I had a pretty critical stream, and there was some rough times that followed that, and I'd rather focus on really good things. There's a lot of things to be excited about. I have been saying for a while that I'm ready for a new game. This looks exciting. I'll play it. I'll definitely play it. Hopefully AMG will hook me up with a review copy so I could bring you guys, an unboxing and some early gameplay videos and some, all kinds of cool stuff like that. I don't know if that'll happen anymore. They did that with Marvel Crisis Protocol. I had a whole lot of Marvel Crisis Protocol coverage early on in the channel, but ultimately I'm more of a Star Wars channel, so I feel like this one's right up my alley. So I'm expecting to absolutely love this game. I'm expecting to love this game because as much as I like Marvel Crisis Protocol, it's not Star Wars, right? So Star Wars, this looks like my guess is this is going to have the Marvel Crisis Protocol engine, but with a Star Wars skin. They talked about elevation being important in this game. We saw, let me talk about it a little bit. Wait, hold on. In this video too, like there's a lot of, let's talk about it. I'm going to talk over the video a little bit. There's a lot of bridges. Like there's a certain bridge that's used a lot. So like this bridge that they're standing on, I think that bridge is going to be one of the things that's included. I'm looking for the terrain this time. I don't think that big terrain is included. I don't think those mountains are included. Those are definitely a custom job. But the ladder might be included. That bridge, that Grievous is the same bridge again. Some of those crates, probably. Maybe even one of those small houses. Like those houses that have the bridge connecting them. I won't be surprised. I'm guessing we're going to have 2 houses with a bridge connecting them. Because they're showing those houses quite a bit with that bridge connecting them. They're in a lot of different scenes. So that terrain looks cool. Those houses in the background, too. I think that's the type of stuff we're going to get. That might be 2 core sets worth. That's the same bridge again. So, again, probably 2 houses, connecting pieces, a bridge, and maybe some crates. We'll see. We'll see how terrain works. I do expect it's going to be very similar to Marvel Crisis Protocol. Probably with some distinctive rules that make it a little bit more different than Legion. Now, but yeah, I tend to be more positive about it. Because this doesn't mean, first off, nothing can stop you from playing Legion. Legion's fun, right? The bridge does look pretty cool too. And I'm hoping that that it's gonna really be fun with stuff. I do expect it to be on a 3x3 also. I feel like AMG likes the 3x3 format because that's how they did Marvel Crisis Protocol. They've been doing a little bit more X-Wing that way. They really have shied away from Armada, but the latest Armada OP kit is also on a 3x3. Some of the Legion streams are like skirmish formats. In 3x3 is easier to stream on. It's easier to do battle reports on. You can set up a camera. You can capture you can zoom in closer on a 3x3. Like 6x3, you have to either be really far away with multiple camera angles or kind of go in sideways, and now the camera's kind of in somebody's face. And you can do that. But like if it's a 3x3, you can get, like, most screens allow for a full 3x3 with also the sidebars of what the list is, so you can put important information on just the outer, just 3x3 works better. And I think getting battle reports of a 3x3 game will be a lot easier, especially with bigger miniatures too. You'll be able to see them easier. I just feel like it'll work better for things like that. Now, of course, that's not the driving force on why they make a game, but also just 3x3 is easier for stores to host events, to host tables, most people can manage to play something. Most people have a kitchen table that can facilitate a 3x3 game. Even if it's not fully 3, like 2.5 by 2.5, you can still play it, right? But a lot of people have a harder time playing a 6x3 game at home. And so I feel like you reach lots more people with a game like this that's designed for 3x3. I feel like you do. So let's go to some more. I'm going to try and check out some more of the chat. Blizzy Blake says, sending good vibes for a review copy. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Hey, we'll see. You know, and I want to point out something with review copies and stuff like that. It's not like I'm just out there trying to get free stuff, because I'll pick up a copy of this anyway. It's just to get it early and to be able to bring you guys content to help you make a better decision and to give you guys something to watch while you're waiting for your copy. So I want to get stuff early for a number of reasons. First off, I get more views. Like, I mean, everybody wants clicks, right? Like, I mean, of course I want clicks, you know, but I try not to do clickbait, you know, at least clickbait that's like not like, I try not to put out a video that like a thumbnail that shows you something that's not in the video, right? Like, I'm not going to put a girl in a bikini top on my thumbnail and be like, oh my God, you know, like, I don't do that. But I do put out a thumbnail that I try to get you to come in because it's supposed to show you what the video is going to be about. But I also try not to do like the super hot negative takes. I try not to be like ultra controversial because I don't want to be toxic. I don't want to be a toxic part of the hobby. I don't want to be a toxic part of the culture. That's why, like, I don't usually, like, with all like the Last Jedi stuff and all the Star Wars movie stuff and the criticisms and stuff, I keep a lot of that to myself, or I talk like privately with people or in small groups about how I view things. And even the stuff that I like the least, I don't, you know, act like I hated it. Like, I had some issues with the sequel trilogy, but at the same time, you know, I still had a good time going to see the movies. You know, I focus on the things that I love. Like, watching episode 9 in the movie theater was a fun experience because I was in the movie theater seeing a Star Wars movie on release day, and I was eating popcorn, the lights went out, I had a good time, and it was Star Wars stuff happening, and Harrison Ford was on the screen, surprised the heck out of me, and I'm like, oh my God, this is cool, you know. And then afterwards, you know, I thought about my, you know, like, whew, man, the movie didn't do what I expected it to do, you know. And so I had some criticisms too, but I also had good things to say, you know. And so, like, I could have just gone home and been like, Disney ruined Star Wars, you know. But yeah, like so all kinds of crazy stuff like that. Like, and I've seen a lot of people that do that. I don't want to go into like a negative hate-filled thing, even though I know I could probably double my views and subscribers by making like scathing headlines. Like, I could have made a video that says like, Legion is now officially dead, replaced by Star Wars Shatterpoint. Like, I could have totally done that. And I want you to know, I it's in my head that, like, hey, this is an option. And I consciously say, no, that's not me. First off, that wouldn't be accurate. And second off, you know, that would be trying to get people to watch for the wrong reasons, you know, and that would be inviting controversy, and that would basically just be adding more toxicity to the culture, and that's not what I'm about. You know, I have sometimes had a hot take or two that were a little controversial, but I really try to balance that out a lot more. And I think there's a lot to be excited about with this game, but I'm not going to be so positive that I dismiss legitimate concerns. I know some people are going to be concerned, thinking, well, are they going to continue to develop Legion? They haven't said that they're going to stop developing Legion, but at the same time, we're going to have to wait and see. It's just a plain fact of it, right? Like they said, you know, Armada is still supported, but we haven't seen any product from Armada in a long time, you know? So, like, I'm happy that we got Rapid Reinforcements. I'm happy that they called it Rapid Reinforcements 1, which means hopefully we'll get another Rapid Reinforcements 2. Like, that'd be awesome. You know, and I think there's a reasonable chance we will. But I also have to say, you know, there's also a chance that we won't, right? And that stinks. And so I try to prepare myself for that eventuality. And at the same time, I have to prepare myself for other eventualities too. Like maybe Shatterpoint will eventually replace Legion as their, you know, main Star Wars, you know, game. I expect it to get a lot of press, at least for the first 6 months. I would say all of 2023 is probably going to be heavily focused in Star Wars Shatterpoint. Because it will be coming out in the summertime, and then they're going to have lots of new expansions to talk about, whether they do like, you know, and this is coming out at Adepticon. I'm not going to Adepticon. This makes me feel bad that I'm not going to Adepticon because I would love to be there and get some early demo games in with it, but apparently that's not going to happen, so I'll just have to deal with that. That's a bummer, you know. That's a real bummer for me. But yeah, all right. Let's get to some more questions. Good guy Crabbok choosing the light side. I know, and it's okay. Like, and it's okay if you're upset or concerned, or if you have your criticisms. So, they pointed out earlier in the chat. It was pointed out, with all of the recent errors that they've had, it brings up concerns, and I wonder if this isn't the best time to announce a new game, because I think there's going to be the perception that some folks will be like, yeah, they're spending all their time on this and they're neglecting everything else. That's why we have misprints on everything else, because they don't care about the other stuff, right? Like, that might be something that people would say, and so I wonder if this was the best time. I guess we'll have to see. I'll be looking. It's harder to find misprints on a new product because you don't know what was intended to be there and what isn't. But of course, you can look for blatant things that either don't make sense or misspellings and things like that. Might be and we'll see if there's hopefully there's no day one errata with Star Wars Shatterpoint. One thing a lot of people don't know is Star Wars Legion had some kind of day one errata issues that they decided not to errata. And I think they've talked about this publicly before, so I don't mind talking about it. But there's a card that says that you can issue an order. I'm trying to remember what it was, but basically there was a card that had an unintended, if you put this on Luke Skywalker, it's actually really, really strong. And they're like, well, we didn't intend for it to do that. It's not supposed to do that. And I'm like, but rules as written, it says it can do that. And so that's the way the community is playing it. And they're like, oh, it wasn't supposed to do it. Screw it. Let them have it. There was a situation where I think Alex Davey has talked about that. It was like, it's strong, but it's not exactly broken. So we can let them have it. Where things kind of happen like that. And so that's pretty cool. Like, when a game hits the public and kind of leaves the bubble of playtesting, sometimes there are extra things. Seth says the crit to defense. Yeah, that was a bad one, right? Fro Kwan says, are Marvel Crisis Protocol minis painted? No, they are not. They're not even assembled. They come on a sprue. By the way, speaking of sprues, I wonder if this will have some crossover with Marvel Crisis Protocol, and maybe that's why we had the Marvel logo on the Din Djarin sprue. I don't know. Probably not, but it's always interesting to think about that. I think this is going to be a game that has some interplay with Marvel Crisis Protocol. By the way, let's talk about the animation style too. This is definitely Clone Wars CGI type of art style, right? I feel like not completely CGI, but I definitely see a lot of Clone Wars just style and aesthetic kind of conveyed into these sculpts. And so that's kind of cool. And that's another way to kind of make this one a little more distinct. I feel like Legion is a little bit more meant to be more live action inspired or inspired, I say, because the heads are a little bigger on Legion to kind of make the minis work and to make them pop and to make them visible and recognizable and stuff like that. This one seems to be a little bit more realistic as far as the proportions. But looking at a lot of the cloaks and stuff here, these hard lines in the cloak here is very kind of, it's drawing me back to Clone Wars. This whole scene here just makes me screams Clone Wars to me, as opposed to trying to be ultra realistic. It's a little bit more, hey, you remember the Clone Wars and stuff. So that's an interesting thing now. Chandler. Just saw the Shatterpoint video. What are your thoughts on this being a core set using primarily Clone Wars Season 7 characters rather than a core set starring traditionally with Rebel versus Empire? Yeah, so everything we've seen and everything they've announced so far is all stuff from the Clone Wars. In their live stream, they talked about some of the other stuff that's coming. Cad Bane is coming. Mace Windu is coming. Padme Amidala is coming. I don't think this is only Clone Wars Season 7 stuff, because I don't think these two were in Clone Wars Season 7. I think this whole core set is going to be largely based on the core, the Clone Wars season. I think you're going to have certain waves. I think what you're going to do is you're going to follow what Marvel Crisis Protocol did, and that Marvel Crisis Protocol focused on Avengers and kind of a core wave, and then after a time, they released like a wave that had a focus on a different setting. So there was an Asgardian wave, and then there was like a spider villains or spider heroes, spider friends wave. You'll probably see like a Gungan or a Naboo themed wave and things like that. I want to do a shout out to Team Megafort for a super chat. Thank you, Team Megafort. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. That's a great way to catch my attention. So if I do miss your comments, I apologize. But the super chat blows up in a really big bubble, and I probably need some kind of integration so super chats show up on the screen too. That would be a cool thing to do. I don't know how to do that right now because I'm a big dummy and I need to figure it out. But I'm sure there's a way to do that. I know there's a lot more integrations. If you're streaming on Twitch, it's so much easier to do these things, and on YouTube doesn't have quite the same support. But Team Megafort says, I need these models in my life. Yeah, they look like good models. I'm only a little worried because I'm like, gosh, I just bought so many of these models for Legion, like, and I got to paint them all over again, right? There's going to be a lot of painting to do. And there's so much they show you here. Another thing that's really weird to me with these models is we have generics also, right? Like, or are they actually generics, or is that like Gar Saxon, and is that you know, it's, well, like, I don't know if they're named characters individually. I feel like they're not named. Maybe they're all named characters. Like maybe each of these clones has a name. Like he's Waffle and the other guy's Tomato or something like that. I don't know. Probably not. I think we can come up with better names for those guys than that. We got Clyde Dashing with another super chat. Thank you, Clyde. He says Team Megafort needs these models. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Hi, Hera. What you doing? My dog is whining at me. She wants to go out or something. No, I'm just laughing at the people. It's okay. It's okay. When she hears laughter, she starts to cry because she thinks like something's wrong. I don't know. What does that tell? What does that say about me? Is there not enough laughter? What? Do you need to go out? I can't let you out right now. I can't. No, I can't. I'm streaming. But yeah. So anyway, let me see. We're going to get to some more of the chat. Big Ben says CT 2437 Waffle. Is that actually, is there really a, is that a thing? I don't know if that's really a thing. Wow. Trooper Cabbage reporting. There was some great. Zach says, wait, was this announced? Oh, yeah. So, all right. So if you guys are just joining, we are almost at 300. Make sure you share this video, please. I don't normally ask for you to share stuff. Well, I guess I sometimes do. But let's share this stream out with your communities, with your friends. Let's let people know about Star Wars Shatterpoint. If we break 300, I'll do yet another giveaway. I'm going to play the video one more time, then I'll announce the winner for the Armada giveaway. It was hashtag Armada in chat. And we're going to... Oh, Davidson says, Sarastro did the music for the trailer? Sarastro's awesome. All right, let's go ahead and let's go. Boom. Here it is. Yes, I muted my mic on purpose. I was talking to my wife for a moment. All right, so that's Shatterpoint. It's coming. It's going on pre-order in January. It'll be out summer of 2023. You'll get your first hands-on look at it at Adepticon in March. We're doing some giveaways today. The second giveaway winner for the Armada CR90 promo is Rico Fico 72. Congratulations, Rico. Nothing special on the back of this one. Make sure you shoot me an email at mailcrabbok@gmail.com. Let me know what you won, because if you just say, hey, I won something, I might forget. I might send you the wrong thing, because I'm old and my brain is deteriorating as we speak. It happens as you get older. You see all these gray hairs in this beard here? Oh, look at all these gray hairs. Every gray hair is a brain, like a whole, not a brain cell, but a whole brain tree that is decayed. And it happens every time I lose at Legion. So, yeah. So that's the thing. We got a super chat from Curly1. What's going on? By the way, I'm so happy with all the super chats.
Super chats? Wow, that's amazing.
Mini Crab came back for super chats.
Super chats are the best. Super chats.
Oh my
Wow,
goodness.
That's amazing.
Mini Crab is back for super.
Super chats are the best.
Oh my goodness. Curly1 says, maybe Mole won't die right away when you run home in this game. Or I think you mean when I run him in this game. Yes, like every time I run Maul or I run Jedi, like they tend to die always right away. Maul almost always dies immediately. And it's hilarious. It's quite hilarious. So some of you new folks, A. Clark says, will these have painted minis? No. AMG doesn't do that. I mean, I don't think they've said specifically like what the sprues are going to be like, or I don't think they've talked in that much detail about this stuff, but they're definitely not going to be painted minis. I can promise you that. It's going to be like Marvel Crisis Protocol, almost certainly. They said it will come with some terrain. I'm guessing it's going to be 2 buildings, a bridge to connect them, and some crates in the box. Maybe a little more than that. When you paint them, yeah. But it looks pretty cool. So this is going to be a miniature skirmish game. I'm assuming it's going to play on a 3x3. I'm assuming it's going to have cards. Let's talk about cards. They talked about there's going to be cards. I imagine the cards are going to be similar to Marvel Crisis Protocol. Like, if you run Luminara, I'm guessing you're just running Luminara. You're probably not running Luminara with, Reckless Charge and Mastery of the Force. And, I'm going to equip her with, Glowing Lightsaber Crystal 01, and stuff like that. I think you'll just run Luminara. So basically quick builds for everybody. I have a feeling that will be another thing that makes this distinct from Legion. That's what I expect. But since that is the case, like, I'm curious how they plan to do the generics, since generics usually don't have like a quick build card, right? So I'm curious with a lot of that stuff. But yeah, you taking off?
Yep.
See you later. All right. But yes. So is there a Legion is dead hashtag? I don't know, but I mean, I don't see any reason to kind of feed that fire right now. Until such time that there becomes reason to. Obviously, there's concern, right? I get that, but it doesn't do any good to do that. If you decide that this game looks interesting to you, and maybe you want to stop buying into Legion and start saving your money for this game, then that's a choice that you can make. I think this game looks interesting. I think it's hitting on a lot of what I wanted. It doesn't look perfect, though, to me. I'll be honest with you. I'm not thrilled with generics being in the game, so I don't know if all these guys are going to be generics or if they're going to be individually named people. Like especially with these Mandos right here, like they look like generic Mandos. Like they don't look like specifically named folks. Especially since they have, like, all these dudes have the helmets on. Like, this one could be Gar Saxon. That's definitely possible. But you know how I know he's not Gar Saxon? Because they remembered the shield. Oh! Oh, yes. All right. Mini Crab, come on out for that one. It's Mini Crab time. Oh, how many of you Legion players actually got that joke? How many of you guys actually got that joke? That was terrible. That was the joke of the day, folks. That's how I know it's not Gar Saxon, because they remembered the shield. All right. But yeah. Let's see. I want to check out some of the chat. The burn of the century. It was a good burn. Yeah, I got him. All right. Anyway, shield's not included. No, it's fun. You know what? They deserve a little bit of razzing. We can do that. We can do that. I think that's funny. That's in good taste. All right, but oh, I know some of you guys. Some people asked me about like Gar-Saxon shields and stuff like that too, because like the 5th Trooper was given those out for Legion, and I don't think they're currently doing that right now, but if you stay tuned to like their website and their social media pages and stuff like that, the next time they do have like another print run of those or whatever, that would probably be the best way to try to secure those. So I know some people were asking about that a little bit. That may be something in the in the future. Team Megafort, will the dewback come on a dinner plate? Oh, that I can't answer. I don't know what's going on with that. That's funny. So skirmish games are smaller, like X-Wing type size battles. Yeah, 3x3. An X-Wing game takes place on a 3 foot by 3 foot play area. So does Marvel Crisis Protocol. So does Legion if you're playing in the skirmish mode, which is a smaller version of Legion. And you know, like the kind of battles they're showing here are like 5 characters versus 5 or 4 versus 4. It really, everything about this trailer screams Marvel Crisis Protocol to me. Everything about it really says that. Now, this is I think this is going to allow you to do certain things that you kind of can't do in Legion, like a Jedi battle. Like I want to have like Yoda, Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, Anakin, and Obi-Wan, you know, go up against, you know, Dooku, Maul, Asajj, Savage Opress, and Sidious, or something like that. You know, and you can't do that in Legion. You can get kind of close to it. I mean, you can do it if you homebrew it and just say, I'm doing Legion hero battles, 800 points of 800 points of just, you know, heroes versus heroes. You know, we'll run the video again. I'll talk over it a little bit. I'm just going to kind of let it run for a little bit in case people are just joining now. Big Ben says, does Armada have a 3x3 play? Yeah, they do. They have the 200 point format. It's not particularly popular from what I've seen, but they do have a 200 point format. The new OP kit for Armada is also on it's a 200 point thing on a 3x3 battle, and it has other restrictions like no large ships and stuff like that, which is it's not really for me, you know, but I like playing the full 6x3. You know, I like using everything that's available, especially for like the Clone Wars, where it's harder to use, you know, a smaller selection of ships because you only have 4 ships available. And like if you're playing Separatists, for example, that half the ships are already gone, so you only have 2 ships you can choose from, you know, to make your list. So it's a little typical. Captain One-Eyed Jack Farrell says you can join 5th Troopers Patreon and at certain levels to get Gar-Saxon shield card and a bunch of other stuff. That's cool. Yeah, there you go. There's an option. Yeah. So but yeah, the 5th Troopers got some. They sent some stuff out, or they gave Jace gave me some stuff at Gen Con. You know, the Battle Force cards and the Gar-Saxon shield card, and there may even be some stuff. You know, some stuff, you know, coming, like a little bit of cross promotion. Maybe we'll have some stuff later in the year to surprise you guys with from the 5th Troopers. So we'll have to see. Let's see. All right. So I'm sorry if I missed any chat. I'm trying to go through here and answer some questions and just address some concerns, and we'll talk about it. Some people saying bye-bye Legion. I don't know about that. That's, you know, I don't think anything like that will happen. Oh, I want to go back to something else that Chandler said before. Is like, how do you feel about this being Clone Wars only and not Galactic Civil War? So I feel like they'll do different waves. But if you remember with Marvel Crisis Protocol, it was mostly Avengers. Did we hit early? Did we hit 300? Did we hit 300? Should I do another giveaway? Wow, I feel bad if we hit 300 and I missed it. I was busy talking and reading questions and all kinds of groovy stuff like that. Oh, that's cool. Let's see, what do we have here? I'm looking through stuff, trying to find a good promo for everybody. All right, I'm getting it. I'm getting there. Okay. Oh, that's good too. There. Oh man, that's good too. All right, I like all of these things. These are too much. Some of my promos are like a set, and they all go together. And I want to save those for like a 12 Days of Life Day giveaway. I don't want to do a whole. Okay. We'll do a DC 15 clone. All right, hold on. Let me turn off this video. Let me turn off the video so I can get the. All right, so this is gonna be another giveaway. It's gonna be hashtag Legion. You can turn this off. Hashtag Legion if you want to win this one, because we hit 300. It's going to be a DC 15. And on the back, it's the droids E5C1, right? Or is it? Yeah. E5CB1. E5CB1. So it's a double-sided promo. This was, I think, from the launch wave of Legion. So it's like, it's pretty old. Old school stuff from the early days of La Légion. Légion Boudoir Courtois. I don't even know what that means. I'm making up words and being very insensitive right now. So let me not do that. Also, if you didn't win anything, we have 2 more copies of the X-Wing giveaway, the double-sided X-Wing promo. That's going to go up on Patreon. And one will go on Patreon, the other one will be in Discord. So if you're not already in the Discord, check it out. Links in the description below. We added a new Shatterpoint section to the Discord. It's so we're going to be having some discussion down there. Also, there's a Facebook group linked in there. I started up a Facebook group for Shatterpoint so we can hopefully, share like screenshots and things like that as they show up and information. So depending on, because not everybody uses Discord, not everybody uses Facebook, and I know they're going to be setting up an official, like an AMG Facebook group as well. And my good friend L Firespray is going to be one of the community moderators for that, so that's pretty cool. So happy to see L kind of joining the AMG team and helping out over there. So very, very cool. But yeah, so just lots of different ways to stay informed, and so that's kind of what's going on with Shatterpoint. So yeah, let's talk about this. So another thing that I think is kind of cool is that Ahsoka here is Republic Ahsoka, right? Do you remember back? Let's go back to Mini Stravaganza when they said, "Oh, here's Ahsoka coming in, but she's coming to the Rebels first." And a lot of people were like, "Why isn't Republic getting Ahsoka? Why is?" Now all of a sudden it makes a little bit more sense because they're doing this Ahsoka, so they kind of wanted to cover the different bases, right? And I think the Rebels versus Empire is definitely one of those things that Legion has going for it that Shatterpoint won't have, at least right away. I won't be surprised if at the end of 2023, maybe around like a Christmas time announcement, they announce like a second core set of, or a second big wave and that has Galactic Civil War stuff. Won't be surprised. Or you know what they could also do? There's another big thing that these guys could also do. And I'll probably talk about this more in another video. But they could easily decide to take this game in different directions that don't exist in Legion. And that's the sequel trilogy. One of the problems you have with trying to do the sequel trilogy for Legion is that there is not really a resistance army. Like, how are you going to do the resistance in Legion? Like, it would be, I don't know, you'd have to invent a lot of stuff. But if you're doing a game like this for Legion, now if you're just pulling heroes, and you could put a couple of troops in there, but you could have your Finns and your Reys and your General Leia and your old Lando, your old Luke, and your old Han, and maybe Chewie again, and you've got enough characters to fill out a faction for a small game. What do you need? Like between 5 and 10 characters. You probably need at least 5 characters to have a faction. I mean, that's what they did in Marvel Crisis Protocol. 4 or 5 characters, like when they started with Wakanda. Boom, that's like you didn't have to have a super detailed faction. So you could do that. Not that I think that there's a ton of demand for sequel trilogy stuff right now, but I feel like there's a gap for sequel trilogy stuff. And it's probably a good idea for them to start working on that, because we're gonna hit a point in time, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but we're gonna hit a point in time where people are growing up that likes the sequel trilogy, maybe young teens who saw the sequel trilogy in theaters are going to grow up and they'll be like, hey, I'm old enough now. I have a job. I have disposable income. I want some stuff. I want Finn on my tabletop. There's also new movies planned for the future. There's all been comics. There's been the show Star Wars Resistance, right? You have a lot of that stuff too. Like Resistance and First Order exist in X-Wing. There's lots of characters. You got Captain Cardinal. You got books and stuff like that. That feature releases. Vi Marati. You got characters in the parks and all kinds of interesting things like that you can do with Star Wars Shatterpoint that don't translate as well to Star Wars Legion. So there's a lot of there are some areas that this can cover that Legion doesn't. I feel like that would be a really smart thing to do, is to kind of cover some of those things. As a matter of fact, Shatterpoint could, in theory, go into Legends too. The Bad Batch, of course, the Bad Batch. And Anime says the Bad Batch. Yeah, that's why is there a Firefly tornado outside? We have a hurricane coming in right now, so I might be out of. I'm out here in Florida. Check AMG's channel, new Shatterpoint video. What newer than this one? This one right here? I don't think they have one that's even newer than this one. Will you let me know? I'll check their website. I usually don't browse the web while I'm live streaming, so I can't I can't check their channel right now. But yeah. But yes. So this is the video that they put up, and so I kind of grabbed this earlier so I could you guys could watch it along with me. But yeah, and I wonder if people will be like that faction locked, or I wonder if this will also be a little bit like Marvel Crisis Protocol, where you can just build a team however you want. I expect you won't be able to just build a non-thematic team. I imagine you will have to build a faction-based team. I think that's that'll probably be the big difference between this and Marvel Crisis Protocol, is the team building. So yeah, I imagine that they wouldn't have put the generics in here if you could just fill out your team with all the heroes that you want. But that'll be a thing to see. I mean, because it looks like they have like 3 of every kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah, pure bounty hunters. Oh my gosh, that's a great idea. That's a really great idea. Enemies like in Legion, we've got a lot of bounty hunters now. We've got Boba Fett. We've got Bosk. We've got IG-88. We're getting very close to kind of filling out that Empire Strikes Back bounty hunter scene. We just need Dengar and then Zuckuss and 4-LOM. We're never going to get Zuckuss and 4-LOM. Zuckuss and 4-LOM are always the last ones to the party in any format, whether it's a trading card game, whether it's a collectible, an LCG, whether it's action figures, Star Wars Black Series, whether it's a game like Legion or even Shatterpoint. I promise you that if we get bounty hunters, I mean, we know Cad Bane's coming, right? But if we start getting like the Empire Strikes Back bounty hunters, we'll get Boba Fett, who'll probably be pretty early, Dengar. I think we'll get Boba Fett, we'll get Bosk and IG-88, and then Dengar. And then maybe someday we'll get Zuckuss and 4-LOM. I would be blown away if AMG wants to be bold, if they want to be really bold, I would suggest do Zuckuss and 4-LOM first. I dare you to do Zuckuss and 4-LOM in the first wave, like before Boba Fett or before IG-88. I mean, be bold, be a pioneer. Nobody wants to touch Zuckuss and 4-LOM. You know, I don't know. That's just me. I'd like to see Zuckuss and 4-LOM show up. I'm a candidate for the underdog. I really am. There's a new 10-minute video. Oh, the gameplay video. There probably is. So we'll probably start wrapping up the stream here in a little bit. But yeah, they'll because there's gonna be a lot more information. I'll have a lot more videos coming out for this soon. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be exciting. We have a good time planned. There's so much more to talk about with this game. I've got a Legion giveaway winner to announce. Dengar is next. I'd love to see Dengar. I am concerned that maybe some of the priority to make new Legion stuff might not be as strong as we'd hoped. I guess we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to wait and see. So that's just something to keep in the back of your mind, and hopefully it's all for nothing. Hopefully they keep doing Legion, and they certainly haven't said anything about stopping or slowing down. So there we go. All right. Winner for the Legion giveaway is going to be Joshua Sexton. Congratulations, Joshua Sexton. You're going to win this one. Go ahead and shoot me an email. And at mailcrabbok@gmail.com. Go ahead and tell me what you have won. Make sure you include your shipping information too, so I can get these stuff out to you. If you did not win anything, there'll be more chances to win in Discord and on Patreon. So thank you guys. I will talk to you soon. This has been pretty fun. Yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff, man. They look cool. I only grabbed a couple of screenshots from the video there. I guess there's more content. We'll have more information. Stay tuned. We'll have more things coming throughout the week. Maybe. You might not hear from me because we have a hurricane coming in like tonight. So might be internet and power issues. So if you don't hear from me for a while, blame the fact that I live in Florida. We still haven't recovered from all the flooding in Central Florida right now, and so we have another one coming in. Oh, boy, the timing. All right, I will talk to you guys later. May the force be with you. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this channel possible, so thank you for your continued support. If you want to join that team, check the links in the description. I will talk to you later. See ya.